In China's retail landscape, a profound shift is underway. We're witnessing a fundamental inversion, where national giants are retreating from so-called declining cities, and a new breed of regional champion is, quite literally, rising from the ashes. In this analysis, we're going to deconstruct this transformation, where the old blueprint of national scale is being replaced by a new one, hyper-local efficiency. This single quote from the founder of a regional supermarket perfectly captures the fatal flaw of China's traditional retail model. It was a model built on channel fees, a system that frankly just bloated prices for consumers and created a huge disconnect between what was on the shelves and what people actually wanted to buy. So, here's the core thesis, the bottom line for today. The old playbook for creating value in Chinese retail has been thrown out. It's no longer about planting your flag in every single province. The new game is all about regional density, building incredibly efficient, high-density networks that unlock far superior economics in the supply chain. Now, our story starts in a very unlikely place. We're not in Shanghai or Beijing. We're heading to Hegang, a resource city in northeast China that has seen better days. And this isn't just the story of one company's comeback. It's really the blueprint for a counter-cyclical revolution, one that started right where the national giants saw nothing but decline. So picture this, the big international and national names, Carrefour, Walmart, Yonghui, they're all shutting down their stores in the Northeast. They're pulling out. But a local player, a company called Beiyut, did the exact opposite. They started buying up these failing stores, recognizing that the problem wasn't the building itself, but the broken business model that was operating inside it. So how did they pull this off? Well, it was a very deliberate, even high-risk, three-step strategy. First, they slashed prices to get customers back in the doors, understanding that foot traffic is the ultimate form of leverage. Second, they took that leverage and went back to their suppliers to completely renegotiate terms. And finally, and this is the most critical part, they rebuilt their entire operational backbone around a hyper-efficient new supply chain. Now, it's really important to note that Beiyut's approach isn't the only one that's working. We're actually seeing the market split, or bifurcate, into two very different but successful models. You have Beiyut on one side, which is purely efficiency-driven, all about moving brand-name products as cheaply as possible. And on the other side, you have a player like Peng Donglei, who's product-driven, focusing on high-quality private label goods and incredible service. All right, so let's pop the hood on the Beiyut model. We're going to deconstruct the actual mechanics that power their advantage, because this is where a smart process translates directly into profit. The absolute core of their engine is a daily replenishment system. Now, this is common in places like Japanese convenience stores, but for a Chinese hypermarket, it's exceptionally rare. And the impact is just staggering. We're talking double the sales in half the physical space. Inventory turns over faster, which frees up huge amounts of cash. And it forces a strategic shift from trying to offer everything to getting really, really good at selecting only the best items. So after perfecting this system internally, Beiyut made an incredibly smart strategic move. They decided to sell it. They created a B2B platform called Zhenximye, essentially turning their supply chain expertise into a service they could offer to other small and mid-sized retailers in the region. And this number really gets to the heart of the value proposition. By cutting out all the inefficient middlemen of the traditional distribution network, Zhenximye can deliver a 7 to 8% cost advantage. Now, you have to remember, in the grocery business, net margins are razor thin, maybe in the low single digits. So an advantage of 7 or 8% isn't just significant, it's completely transformative. Okay, let's pull the camera back, because Beiyut's success isn't happening in a vacuum. It's actually a very clear symptom of a much wider transformation that is reordering the entire list of winners and losers in China's retail sector. The data here tells a really clear story. You can see the legacy hypermarket format is in structural decline. Store counts are shrinking by almost 10% year over year. At the exact same time, you have these more focused formats like membership clubs that are just exploding with double-digit growth. It's a clear signal of where both customers and capital are moving. So what's behind the shift? It really comes down to a split in the consumer's mind. On the one hand, there is a relentless, almost obsessive pursuit of value, which is fueling the rise of all these discount formats. But on the other hand, the very same consumers are perfectly willing to pay a premium for products that offer a clear health benefit or a unique experience. And the victim in all this? It's the undifferentiated middle market, the traditional hypermarket, that's getting squeezed from both ends. So to figure out where China's retail evolution might be headed, it's incredibly helpful to look at the playbooks of some of the established global leaders. These international models can offer us a pretty good glimpse into the future.
First up, Germany's Aldi. This is the absolute blueprint for the hard discount model that companies like Bayut are now emulating. The entire strategy is built on a ruthless dedication to simplicity, a very limited number of items, mostly their own high-quality brands, and a decentralized regional structure that keeps them nimble.
Next, you have Costco, which represents a total inversion of how retail traditionally works. See, Costco doesn't really make its profit on the goods it sells. Its primary profit center is the annual membership fee you pay. This allows them to cap their margins at 14% and sell goods at prices that are structurally impossible for a traditional retailer to even think about matching. And finally, there's the model from Japan's Aeon, which presents a potential third way for the Chinese market. It goes beyond the simple choice of being either a single giant chain or a bunch of isolated regional players. Instead, it offers a federation model. Here's how it works. Aeon acquires strong, successful local retailers, but, and this is the critical part, it preserves their local brands and keeps the local management in place. The central Aeon entity provides all the advantages of scale, like group purchasing power and shared IT, while the local operators maintain the community ties that made them successful in the first place. All of these powerful new models, whether they're driven by efficiency or by product, are forcing China's big, established national retail chains to a major strategic crossroads. It's clear that the old way of doing business just isn't viable anymore. You just have to look at Yonghe supermarkets. They're facing immense financial pressure. Profits are down almost 80%. So what are they doing? They're attempting a radical pivot, trying to transform their entire national chain into a high-touch, product-focused retailer like Pingdong Lai. But this kind of cultural and operational overhaul, for a company of that size, carries an exceptionally high risk of failure. Then, you have Sun Art Retail. Under new leadership, they've gotten back to profitability, and they're pursuing a low-price strategy. But the core challenge for them is structural. Can a national chain with stores spread all over the country and a higher cost base really win a price war against a hyper-efficient, regionally dense player like Beiyao 2? It is a fundamental strategic dilemma. And all of this leaves us with the ultimate strategic question for the industry. Will China's retail future be dominated by a single, consolidated national empire? Or, as that Aeon model suggests, will the future actually belong to a collaborative federation of powerful regional kings? The answer to that question is going to define the next decade of this entire sector.